Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Night Off's podcast, where today I'm flying solo. So, you see, I've got no Alex, I've got no Walsh. It's just me. The boys are out, they're enjoying the new year. I figured I'd bring us in and talk about a little bit of what each federation does to bring in the new year. I hope it's a great start to your 2024, and let's get started. Oh, and before we get started, I just wanted to let you all know that our merch is available. Take a look at this. Thank you, Alex, for the design work. The links are in the description down below. Feel free to go ahead and check it out and pick yourself up a t-shirt or a hoodie. To kick things off, let's start off with the WWE. So, they have actually brought in the New Year's in multiple fashions, but one of note is the New Year's Revolution. That was an annual January pay-per-view event, and its first one took place in January 9th, 2005, and it aired on pay-per-view in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Now, this was the first ever pay-per-view event that was produced by the WWE and held in Puerto Rico. One of the things of note about this pay-per-view is the fact that it had an Elimination Chamber match. Now, if you don't know what the Elimination Chamber is, I will bring it up on screen here. But as a quick description, it was a structure that was about 16 feet high and weighed about 10 tons. It was composed of about 2 miles of chain, steel grating, and plexiglass pods. And 2 wrestlers started the match while the other 4 were contained in the pods, with one each let into the match at random every 5 minutes. It was wild. So this very first New Year's Revolution also saw the very first Money in the Bank cash-in. Edge, who had the Money in the Bank briefcase at the time, decided to cash it in and defeated John Cena, who was the WWE champion at the time, who had just retained his title in said Elimination Chamber match. It's crazy. It's pretty wild. This spot in Puerto Rico did amazing on pay-per-view, and it did amazing in person. Puerto Rico hasn't seen much of stuff like this. Now, unfortunately, though, next year's New Year's Revolution did not have the Elimination Chamber match in it. This was then moved to December in the December to Dismember pay-per-view. So as many of you may know, even though New Year's Revolution has a old history with the company, it really hasn't been around that long. It got discontinued or canceled in 2008. WWE had decided to reduce the number of pay-per-view events that they were holding year after year. So following WrestleMania 23 in 2007, we saw a discontinuation of not only this pay-per-view event, but many others. But in January of 2020, after 13 years of being off the air, the New Year's Revolution was brought back. And it was this time more of like a series of live shows. And it was now called the New Year's Revolution Tour. This tour saw the likes of wrestlers from both SmackDown and Raw at the time. And as many of you might remember, 2020 was the beginning of COVID and all that craziness and all the lockdowns. So this tour got canceled a little early. At its 9th and final show, which was supposed to be held on March 15th, got canceled with the COVID pandemic starting to cause a major outbreak. And before you go nuts and start saying, Derek, but they brought it back again. You are right. December 22nd, 2023, on an episode of SmackDown, the brand's general manager, Nick Aldis, announced that the revival of New Year's Revolution was happening, and it was scheduled to be held as a special episode of SmackDown that's coming up just in a few days now, January 5th, 2024, in Vancouver, if I could speak, British Columbia. That's in Canada. And understand that this will be the final event in WWE's New Year's Knockout Week, which is a week-long programming of New Year's themed shows. Which also leads me into my next one, which the WWE has produced in 2022 a pay-per-view event called Day One, which, unlike New Year's Revolution, it took place on New Year's Day itself. And it was WWE's first pay-per-view and live streaming event to take place on New Year's Day, which is actually happening today as well. We'll talk about that more later, though. Now, next up, we have WCW. While WCW does not have a long history and was eventually bought out by the WWE, as we've talked about in previous podcasts, they did also have their own New Year's event once. They had one show, one singular show. It was in 1999 in December, and it was an episode of Nitro, and it was called New Year's Evil. And if I remember correctly, that had Kiss in it, and it's also one of the lowest rated shows they ever had. And funny side note, NXT actually, January 6, 2021, named one of their New Year's themed shows New Year's Evil in honor of WCW. Obviously, WCW did not last a long time, so there wasn't a whole lot to go off of. If there's anything else, though, feel free to let me know, because I'm sure I've missed something with WCW. Now, AEW. AEW has also not been around for too long. It's got some history, though. All Elite Wrestling in 2021 started holding their event called the New Year's Smash, which is a two-part event. As a note, though, the original January 2021 airing was two back-to-back special episodes of AEW's then flagship program, Wednesday Night Dynamite, while the second event, which aired in December of 2021, occurred during the same week, first as an episode of Dynamite, then as a special episode of Friday Night Rampage, with future events retaining this format, as we're seeing this year as well. It's also cool to note, though, that this Dynamite broadcast for the second event was the final Dynamite to air on TNT. It was then moved to the flagship sister program, TBS. But Rampage remained on TNT. Check it out. If you want to see something a little bit different than WWE, I highly recommend AEW to all of you. There's some great wrestlers over there. Despite some of the recent allegations going on, you do have Chris Jericho. Hopefully we'll find out if the assault charges of the spicy variety are true or not. But AEW has some great wrestlers regardless. You've got Orange Cassidy over there. You've got the Young Bucks over there. You've got Danhausen over there. You've got Hook over there. You've got Danielson over there. There's just a lot of great wrestlers, and you're going to see a lot more different styles of wrestling than you would in WWE, which tends to hold to more of the one style. I did look up Ring of Honor as well, but the most that I could find was that they had like best ofs for rounding out the year. Like they had Final Battle, End of an Era highlights in January 21st, 2022, and the 28th in 2022 as well. They had a special awards ceremony I found on the 7th of January 2022, which featured winners of the 2021 Ring of Honor Awards as voted by the fans, by all of you. But let me know if there's any special events or anything that you know of that they did, any pay-per-view events for bringing in the new year. I couldn't find any. This is the best that I could find. But if you haven't checked out Ring of Honor, it was recently purchased by the AEW organization and has seen quite a revival since its return. But since I have this all to myself, I figured I'd go over some of my favorite matches that I've seen throughout 2023, and let's also talk about what we can look forward to in 2024. So starting off with one of the most memorable matches that I saw in 2023 goes to the strap match between Bryan Danielson and Ricky Starks, which was on AEW's All Out. Now, a little bit of context to this match, though. This was originally meant to be between Starks and CM Punk, but CM Punk had a injury and couldn't actually compete at the time. So Danielson stepped in for this strap match. And as you might guess, these boys beat each other red with this strap. Eventually getting to the point of hitting each other in the face when Starks called out Danielson in the midpoint of the match. Wild. Absolutely wild. What we ended up seeing in this match was Danielson blocking the Rochambeau by Starks and delivering the running knee. And ended up winning the match when Starks passed out while being choked out with that strap. It was pretty cool. I'd say the next big match that stood out for me, honestly, was the Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns match at WrestleMania 39. So this match was a big one. Cody coming in back into the WWE, trying to win the championship belt, one that has eluded his father and his family. And you had Roman Reigns, who at the time was still trying to retain his championship title. There was a lot of interference that went on in this match. First off, you had the Usos coming in to help Roman retain his title. And while it looked like that was going to be the case, you then had Zayn and Kevin Owens run in and equal everything out. This brought it back to like more of a one-on-one, and it started to go more towards Cody's way with the bionic elbow and the two crossroadses that he had pulled on Roman, until there was interference by Paul Heyman, which helped Roman Reigns reign and retain his belt. Honestly, it was a great match. I highly recommend it. If you ever want to go back and look at some of the older matches or see some of the highlights of 2023, I'm certain that is going to be on many highlight reels. One of the other matches that I remember most, and again, WrestleMania 39, is Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley. So this was a very grueling match. This saw Flair at the time trying to retain her SmackDown's women's title, and Rhea, who just came off of a Royal Rumble win, coming in to continue her rise to victory. Now, it was very clear, though, that Rhea is the superior wrestler. She put Flair on the defensive very early on. I mean, you saw the Queen throw Rhea into the figure four. You saw Rhea answer right back later on with a riptide, and leading to Rhea's victory there and taking the title. I mean, honestly, it was a great match, and it's good to see WWE do better with women's wrestling overall. I couldn't have asked for a better match myself, especially when it comes to women's wrestling. I've also got to talk about the Texas Death Match between Hangman Page and Swerve Strickland at AEW's Full Gear. We've talked about this in a previous episode. This is one of Alex's favorite matches, too. I had to bring it up. It's a wild, wild ride. I mean, this match was crazy. We saw broken glass, we saw staples, we saw barbed wire. Strickland's head was gashed open. Page drinking Strickland's blood. This was an amazing, amazing hardcore match. And yet Strickland was able to take all of this punishment and take the win. The next match that I remember greatly is the Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay match. That happened at AEW's Forbidden Door. So a little history for this match. Kenny had defeated Will at the April event at Wrestle Kingdom 17, and he won the IWGP United States Heavyweights Championship. 2 months later, and looking for revenge, Ospreay challenged Omega for the Forbidden Door pay-per-view event. Now, the original matchup in April was brutal, but this one, honestly, takes the cake between the two. Ospreay was able to make Omega bleed, and he was actually able to land a Tiger 91, and Omega landed on his head and neck from this move. Now, if you don't know Ospreay, this man is an aerial master. This man can just fly through the air. He was able to put down Omega by using a Hidden Blade and Stormbreaker, and actually declared himself the future face of professional wrestling as he took his undisputed championship. One of the other notable things that happened in 2023 that I remember was Bray Wyatt's passing, which happened August 24th of 2023. Everyone in the WWE paid tribute to the man. He was a great wrestler, a great guy behind the scenes. His final match was against LA Knight at the 2023 Royal Rumble. I mean, this man was 36 years old. And, I mean, I'm 36 years old. And it kind of makes you think. He died of a heart attack, and it makes you wonder. I know when it comes to internet culture and all that, we're considered old men, but, I mean, he was in the prime of his life. It was a shocking and very eye-opening moment for me, and probably for many of you who remember this. One guy I love is Seth Rollins, and at the Night of Champions, he became the World Heavyweight Champion. He beat AJ Styles And Rollins defended the World Heavyweight title against the likes of Finn Balor, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Drew McIntyre that night. So at this event, Triple H had introduced a new version of the World Heavyweight Championship, and a tournament was held to see who would become the inaugural World Heavyweight Champion. Seth Rollins, he represented Raw, while AJ Styles represented SmackDown, and they slugged it out. So the Iowa native, Seth Rollins, after defeating AJ Styles, has moved on from this point to retain this title for over 200 days, and I'm hoping that he can keep it long into the future. Another big thing that happened in 2023 was the return of Randy Orton, the Viper himself. He had been gone for about 18 months, and he was unveiled as the 5th member of Cody Rhodes' team at Survivor Series. And if you don't know, Randy, he hadn't competed in wrestling since May of 2022. And he's on course to challenge Roman for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship at Royal Rumble 2024. And how could I not talk about CM Punk making a return to the WWE after all of that commotion that went down at AEW? This was the Survivor Series show that was being held here in Illinois at Chicago at the United Center. Now, CM Punk hadn't been seen in the WWE since 2014 at the Royal Rumble. And as you might guess, since his return, he is going to be in the 2024 Royal Rumble. I'm hoping he takes the victory there. Oh, also, WWE, after 18 years, has returned to San Juan, Puerto Rico. And it's where we saw Io Sky take her eventual title win. That's also where we saw Bad Bunny take on Damian Priest. The San Juan Street Fight. I mean, honestly, Puerto Rico is a great place to be holding this, and they could use that income coming into the area. They need more money. Another big thing is Sting had announced his retirement. If you don't know, Sting has been over in the AEW for the past few years. And while we thought he was going to hang up his boots long before, he's actually now getting to write his own final chapter for his end of career. And honestly, I cannot wait to see how this plays out. Oh yeah, Roman Reigns reached 1,000 days as championship this year. That was another major thing that happened. WWE merged with the UFC to form TKO. That was a big one. There has been a lot of moments that have happened for professional wrestling this year. A lot of crazy moments, a lot of moments that'll be very, very unforgettable, like the Hangman Page and Strickland fight. I still can't get Hangman Page's moment of him drinking Strickland's blood out of my head. It's crazy. But let me know what you guys think are your most memorable moments down in the comments below for anyone watching this on YouTube. Now, despite this being a short episode this week, I do want to highlight on some stuff that's going to be coming out this year for 2024. So happening today, Seth Rollins will be putting his title on the line, the World Heavyweight Championship belt, on the line at day 1 against Drew McIntyre. McIntyre lost his title clash against Roman Reigns at the Clash at the Castle and has kind of gone crazy a little bit. He's been taking out everybody, taking out his anger on everybody, and now he's set his sights on Seth Rollins. The Visionary himself has enjoyed a lengthy reign as champion, but I doubt he's overlooking this threat. Also happening is Rhea Ripley is going to be going up against Ivy Nile. Rhea is so confident in this matchup that she's actually put her Women's World Championship title on the line against the Eradicator. I don't know how this is going to go. I feel like Rhea might retain, but again, that happens today at day 1. Check it out. Coming up next for day 1 is going to be Nia Jax versus Becky Lynch. This is a long-standing dispute between these two. I mean, heck, Nia takes credit for helping create the man when she broke her nose. And now Nia, the irresistible force, is out to show that she can finish what she started. We've already seen these two go at it on December 18th. on Raw, and while her back was turned, Jax was able to actually get a devastating strike from behind. We're going to have to see how this plays out, but I get the feeling that the man will retain. I feel like this rivalry is not going to end anytime soon. We've also got some tag team action going on with Tegan Nox and Natalya going up against Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark. Baszler and Stark are a newfound pair, and Nox has been taken under Natalya's wing, and we're going to have to see how these two match up against each other. So check out WWE's Day 1 tonight, January 1st at 8/7 Central, Raw, on your local listing. Next, we have AEW, and we'll be seeing AEW's next showing come out January 3rd, 2024 in Newark, New Jersey. It's going to be the Dynamite Rampage show. I'm thinking there's a chance we might see MJF turn heel again at this show. I don't think the fans like him as a face, and I honestly believe he does better as a heel. And there's nothing wrong with having a champion who is a heel. I love MGF. I love the promos he does. The man never breaks character, so why not just let him be what he is? And since I can't leave AEW fully out of there, I want to give some matches that I would like to see in the future. I'd like to see Valkyrie versus Jade Cargill. I want to see the Blackpool Combat Club go up against the Elite. I don't know if this is going to be able to happen, but I would love to see Kenny Omega go up against Buddy Matthews in the future. Heck, I'd love to see Paul White versus Satnam Singh. You know, the Big Show, I know he's had some health issues and all that, but the man is known for wrestling. The man is wrestling. And for many people's eyes, they think of the Big Show. And actually, funny note, the Big Show was the New Year's baby one year for WWE. I'll see if I can bring a picture up. You'll get to see it, but I don't. I want to see Jungle Boy versus Powerhouse Hobbs. I'd love to see Swerve go up against Orange Cassidy. I think that would be quite the matchup. And, you know, I'd like to see Adam Cole versus MJF. I think that would be a great storyline to put forward. For all of you that watch AEW, let me know what predictions you have for 2024. And heck, let me know what predictions you have for WWE as well for 2024. I think we're going to see some craziness now that CM Punk is back. I think we're going to see some craziness now that Seth Rollins is putting his title on the line. I think we're going to see some craziness out of Reigns and the Usos. I'm excited. I am excited for 2024 and what it has to bring for professional wrestling. But this has been Night Off, and thank you for joining me. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you all think. How did I do by myself? I don't know. This is a little bit different. It might take some getting used to. Alex typically runs the show on this thing, but I think I held it down for at least a week. Let me know. And until then, I'll see you on your next Night Off. Have a good night, everybody.